Turn now to a preview of tonight's 2020. Eva, you've been following this story right here, a Rose Petal Murder mystery.
Yeah, so it's a South Carolina woman violently murdered in her home, stabbed repeatedly. Rose petals scattered across the scene. In tonight's 2020, the shocking twists and turns as police search for her killer. As you start to go looking for evidence, what's the first thing that you do outside of the home?
Cameras.
Cameras.
Look for cameras, yes.
So where were the first cameras that you found?
Well, the first camera was actually right here behind you. There's a Ring doorbell camera.
The camera is from the house directly across the street from where Christina Parcell lived. And so you get that camera. What do you see on that camera?
So that camera, it shows a person walking up the steps and going into the house.
We were extremely lucky. The Ring camera across the street was highly sensitive to cars driving by, and a white Ford Explorer drove by at the exact moment that the individual was walking up the stairs and through the front door of the house at exactly 9:15.
So if that vehicle hadn't driven by at that moment, you wouldn't have seen who walked in the house?
That's right.
We were able to enhance the video. You can actually see the gray sweatshirt, the black pants, the build of the individual, an individual walking up through the front door, getting ready to commit a horrific murder.
We continued canvassing the whole neighborhood and came across some cameras that showed someone wearing the same type clothing, same stature, leaving the area.
The next evidence we have of this individual is a Ring camera down the street, and it shows an individual on a black bike dressed in a black sweatshirt, black pants, with a N95 mask over their face, leaving on the bike at exactly 9:27.
We believe that the suspect was in that house for about 12 minutes.
Then at 9:28, we see the same individual passing a house in the exact same clothes on a black bike.
They were wearing dark clothes. It was a nice day that day. Long sleeves, pants. It's just odd. And it was our first real clue.
The next order of business, finding the man on the bike.
So finding the person on the bicycle was a tall order.
Turns out the man on the bike will not remain a mystery for long. At the point you heard there was a suspect, were you surprised? Police zero in on somebody you'd never expect. Will this finally explain the crime and those odd rose petals?
We had no suspects, and then with the click of a button, it's like, well, we just figured out who did it. Felt like I just won the lottery.
Fascinating story on the Ring cameras there. When did you start following this case?
So, I'm from South Carolina. So, of course, I heard about this story right as it happened. So we started following it right away. And I will tell you, we didn't know what was going to happen. We were just following along like everyone else. My family lives not far. Some of my family not far from this neighborhood. So it's a very safe neighborhood. It was very confusing to people there because of the rose petals. Everyone kept talking about it. And we just were along for the ride.
Wow. And as you noted there, police made an arrest in the case. What was his connection to the victim?
Yeah, so the guy that was arrested, this was another one of those crazy twists that happened midway through the story, was a Juilliard-trained pianist. An incredibly talented guy who, it didn't seem like he knew this person. He'd never had any interaction with them before. So that was part of the mystery, trying to figure out how he was connected to this victim and how this all happened.
I'd imagine a lot in this surprised or shocked you, but was there anything that stands out as being extra surprising or hard to comprehend?
This story, every time we turned around, there was, what? No? Like, it constantly surprised us. You just couldn't predict what was going to happen next. So it makes for a good 2 hours of television.
We'll be tuning in.
Can't wait. When do we get to see it?
Tonight. So you can watch the full report tonight on 2020 at 9 p.m., 8 Central on ABC, and it'll be streaming on Hulu.
Fascinating job there, Eva.